going on, guys? Just wanted to do a little video here out in this foggy, misty rain here today. Anyway, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about, why is it that, our bodies, we get to the point where sometimes our bodies look and feel and perform so much like older than we really are, and it's especially true, as we start to get into, our 40s, right? You might feel it coming on in your 30s, but, man, it's something about the 40s, right? And we just get to this point where it's kind of like you wonder what happened, it's you think back to, man, the days back in, college, right? Or high school, when we were younger and we were more athletic and we could do kind of like, do all kinds of push-ups and go running, jogging for like 1 or 2 miles a day every day and do push-ups and sit-ups every day. And, and now it's just like you get to that point where it's almost like you just wake up one day and go, God, what the hell happened to me? All of a sudden, like, oh man, I put on like 15 or 30 pounds, and I'm tired all the time and I just don't feel good. I don't have the energy I used to. I'm, and we just get like hit with these aches and pains and injuries that every time you try to go for a run or you try to go, on a weekend to go work out at the gym and, you play 18 holes of golf with your buddies and the shoulder's going or the back's messed up, you tweak a knee. It's kind of, all this stuff that makes us really feel like we're just getting old, And even when, honestly, how old are we really? If we're in our 40s, your 30s, your 40s, we're really not that old. I always say, like, if somebody if somebody in their 40s were to die, we wouldn't say, damn, how old that person was. You'd say, oh my God, they were so young, right? And that's kind of the thing, but then, the question is, though, how do we get that way and what do we do about it? When our bodies really just look, feel, and perform a lot older than they really are and than we really are, and honestly, a lot of it, but I'll tell you this, none of it has to do with what we're being told. That, all of a sudden because, we're older, we're in our 30s, we get in our 40s and beyond, that, for some reason, all of the things we used to do, running and jumping and, and even like training and playing sports, like these were things that we used to do for play back in the day, right? We used to do that for play. And now when we try and do it, it's like, oh my God, we can't even, it feels like so much work and it hurts and everything. Well, it doesn't happen that just because we've gotten older now, we're at a certain age that all of a sudden these things that were once really fun and healthy for us have become unhealthy. The problem is, it really has to do with the most fundamental part of it is that we lose our ability to move well. And why do we lose our ability to move well? It has nothing to do with age, right? Think about it. When you were younger, back in the day, when you were an athlete, when you were playing and training and practicing and running and out doing things all the time and riding your bike and doing all that stuff, that everything was cool, right? You were able to do that stuff easy, right? But now we reach a certain age and all of a sudden we're supposed to believe, well, geez, I used to be able to do those things, but because I'm a certain age, now it's bad for me. We lose our ability to move. Back then we were moving ourselves all the time. This was back when I was a kid, before the freaking internet was out, before we had video games everywhere. Kids had to play. We had to go outside and go freaking play. We played tag. We threw the football. We played games. We rode our bikes. We rode skateboards. We were so physically active all the time. There was no sitting in the house, during a summer's day, man. You were out in the morning. You didn't come home until you had to eat dinner at night, till your mom was calling you in the house, But when we start to get out of that, and as we become adults, we get jobs and we get, maybe married or have families and have obligations and work commitments and bills have to be paid. And what happens is then we find ourselves all of a sudden now, maybe we're sitting at a desk for 8 or 10 or 12 hours a day at a computer where we're doing everything in front of us, everything that's got us sitting for longer periods, moving less, sitting in business meetings, right? Driving long commutes to and from work. And we're doing all this kind of stuff that's got us hunched over all the time and locked up in bent positions and everything, where we're not even standing up and straightening up anymore. And we wonder why we're walking around all hunched over, our backs are hurting and all this, because we've really lost our ability to move well. And it's the most fundamental thing that we can do, is to regain our ability to move. And it sounds so simple, right? But this is why, because what happens is, instead of learning how to move well, we try to go to the gym maybe on the weekend when we're not working, and we go lift weights, or we decide to go out for a run. But when we're trying to stack fitness on top of poor movement patterns, when we've lost our ability to have really good, solid, healthy movement patterns, the things we start to do to try to make us healthy, we're putting that on top of poor movement patterns, and it's no wonder we end up with pain and injuries, and we feel older than we are. It's not because the running or the training or, the round of golf on the weekend's bad for us. It's because we haven't gotten our movement patterns back to be healthy and strong. And we're trying to do things on top of improper movement patterns and unhealthy movement patterns, and that's why we get beat up and feel old all the time. So that if there's one thing to do, one take-home kind of message I want to get from this video, is to do something every day, to do something, even if you're locked up in an office for 10 hours out of your day, you've got to have at least a 5-minute span, a break for 5 minutes, even if you got to sit in the office and close the blinds and lock the door, where you can do something to focus on getting some good quality movement back. Movement through your shoulders, movement through your hips, movement through the knees and the ankles, right? Fundamental stuff, and it's just like riding a bike. We had to do it and do it and do it until we learned it. Practice made perfect. Learning to hit a baseball. We didn't just know how to hit a baseball. We had to practice, practice, practice. If you're a golfer, how long did it take you to learn how to hit the damn ball right? And it's still hard, right? Practice. It's the same with movement. We have got to practice it and drill it back in our bodies and rewire the healthy movement patterns back into our bodies. That is how we start to kind of find the fountain of youth again. That's how we start to feel better. We start to move better. We start getting rid of the aches and pains and the things that once were plaguing us, and we start to feel stronger, more athletic, more fit, and more confident in ourselves, right? To feel as confident about your body as you do in the boardroom and in a business meeting. That's what it's about. All right, so that's enough for me today. One thing, just take 5 minutes out of your day, focus on one thing or maybe two things that will get you to get healthy movement patterns back in your body. That's what it is. There's no secrets, no ninja hacks, no tricks for it. It's just good old-fashioned hard work applied consistently over time. That's how we do this. You're never too old. Be unstoppable. Take care.